KitKat, the bar that needs no introduction. One snap, one bite, and the world knows that unmistakable crunch. But what does it take to create this icon? Step inside a world where chocolate flows like rivers, where giant ovens bake endless sheets of wafer, and where precision machines shape, cut, and coat millions of bars every single day. From the roasting of cocoa beans to the final red wrapper, this is not just candy, it's a masterpiece of engineering and flavor. Today, we're unlocking the factory doors to reveal how one of the world's favorite chocolates is born. This is the incredible journey of KitKat. Every KitKat begins far from the factory in the lush tropics of West Africa, South America, and Southeast Asia. Here, in warm climates with plenty of rainfall, cocoa trees thrive under the shade of taller trees, protected from the harsh sun. These trees grow colorful pods, painted in shades of green, yellow, orange, and deep red. Each pod is about the size of a small melon, and inside lies the true treasure, 30 to 40 cocoa beans surrounded by a sweet, sticky white pulp. Harvesting cocoa is a tradition that has remained largely unchanged for centuries. Skilled farmers move carefully among the trees, using long knives or machetes to cut the pods free without damaging the delicate branches. Once collected, the pods are cracked open by hand, revealing the glistening beans inside. But at this stage, the beans don't taste like chocolate at all. They're bitter, almost inedible. That's where the magic of nature steps in. The beans, still coated in their fruity pulp, are piled into wooden boxes or heaped under layers of banana leaves. Over the next 5 to 7 days, they ferment naturally. During this time, the temperature inside the piles rises, sugars break down, and the beans undergo a complete transformation. Fermentation is what unlocks the deep, complex flavors that will eventually become chocolate, the fruity, nutty, and earthy notes we love. Once fermentation is complete, the beans are spread out under the tropical sun to dry. Farmers carefully rake them several times a day, making sure each bean dries evenly and avoids mold. This drying stage can take another week or more, until the beans turn dark brown, brittle, and rich with the unmistakable aroma of cocoa. Only then are they ready for the journey ahead. Farmers pack the dried beans into burlap sacks, each one weighing around 60 to 70 kilograms. These sacks are loaded onto trucks, carried to ports, and shipped across oceans to chocolate factories around the globe. Once the cocoa beans arrive at the factory, their transformation into chocolate begins. Roasting. Inside massive steel drums, the beans are roasted at carefully controlled temperatures. This is where the magic begins. The heat develops deep flavors and releases that unmistakable chocolate aroma. A light roast highlights fruity and floral notes, while a darker roast brings out nutty, rich tones. After roasting, the beans are cracked and winnowed. Machines break them apart and use air currents to blow away the thin outer shells. Cocoa nibs, the pure essence of chocolate. These nibs are then ground under heavy rollers until they form a thick, dark liquid known as cocoa liquor. The cocoa liquor is pumped into massive hydraulic presses, machines so powerful they squeeze it at pressures reaching thousands of pounds per square inch. Under this incredible force, the liquor is separated into two key parts. On one side flows cocoa butter. On the other side remain cocoa solids, a dry, concentrated cake packed with intense chocolate flavor. These solids are later crushed into fine cocoa powder, while the butter is set aside to bring silkiness and shine to finished chocolate. In the factory, KitKat's unmistakable crunch begins with the wafer. A smooth batter made from wheat flour, sugar, vegetable oils, and water is carefully mixed until it reaches the right texture, light, and pourable. This batter is spread into giant baking plates, similar to enormous waffle irons, each imprinting the signature wafer pattern. Under high heat, the batter bakes in just seconds, transforming into thin, golden sheets that are both strong and delicate. Once baked, the sheets are lifted out and set onto conveyors, where they're cooled under controlled airflows. Cooling prevents excess moisture and locks in the crispness, ensuring every sheet will have that perfect light snap when layered into a KitKat. Though they may look simple, these golden sheets are the very foundation of the KitKat bar. Without them, there would be no crunch to break. But a KitKat wafer isn't just one sheet. It's a masterpiece of layers. Each wafer sheet is coated with a creamy filling made from a clever secret: recycled KitKats. Bars that break or don't pass inspection are finely ground, blended with cocoa and sugar, and turned into the delicious paste that spreads between the wafers. It's a perfect cycle, no waste. And even rejects become part of the final product. Layer after layer is stacked with precision, forming massive slabs of wafer and filling. Once the layering is complete, these slabs move to the cutting stage. The rough edges are trimmed away to ensure perfect dimensions, and the giant slabs are sliced into long, uniform strips. Each strip is destined to become a row of KitKat fingers. And just like with the filling, nothing is wasted. The trimmings are collected, recycled, and returned to the process. By the end of this stage, neat wafer strips are ready for their final transformation, being coated in smooth, flowing chocolate. Now comes the most irresistible stage of all, the moment when the crisp wafer core meets its chocolate coat. This is where a KitKat transforms from a crunchy snack into a chocolate icon. The chocolate flows onto moving conveyor belts in wide, silky streams, like a river of molten gold, only darker and richer. The naked wafer fingers ride these belts and take a dive into this chocolate waterfall. Jets of liquid chocolate cascade over them, covering every surface, every edge, and every tiny crevice. But coating is more than just dipping. Special vibrating tables shake the freshly coated bars, ensuring no air bubbles remain trapped in the chocolate. The coated KitKats then travel into long cooling tunnels, essentially giant refrigerated chambers, stretching for dozens of meters. Here, chilled air slowly solidifies the chocolate, locking in the glossy finish and securing the delicate bond between wafer and coating. Too fast to chill, and the chocolate could crack. Too slow, and it loses its sheen. Precision is everything. By the time they emerge, the bars glisten under factory lights, flawless and uniform. Each one is now the perfect harmony of texture: crisp wafer inside, silky chocolate outside. This is the moment KitKat earns its signature identity, the bar that's meant to snap, share, and savor. At last, the KitKat bars are ready for their final transformation packaging. It begins with inspection. Advanced cameras and laser sensors scan every bar, checking for cracks, uneven coating, or even the tiniest imperfection. Anything less than perfect is set aside because only the best make it to the wrapper. Next, the famous red foil comes into play. High-speed flow wrappers pull massive rolls of glossy material, cutting, folding, and sealing each KitKat in just fractions of a second. This isn't just branding. The wrapper locks in freshness, protects the chocolate, and guarantees that satisfying tear and snap every time you open one. But the journey doesn't stop there. Robotic arms swiftly group bars into multi-packs, trays, and boxes. Each package is stamped with tracking codes, ensuring traceability and quality from factory to store. Finally, the cartons are sealed, stacked onto pallets, and loaded for distribution. From warehouses, they'll travel across continents, landing in shops, vending machines, and supermarkets around the globe. From cocoa pod to red wrapper, every KitKat has been through a world of farming, engineering, and precision craft, all for that one perfect crunch in your hands.